Hi, friends. We are going to read two famous poems in our characters booklet. So please make sure that you have your Ways Characters Shape Stories booklet, and you need it open to page 6. That's where we're going to read our first poem. While we are reading, I want you to pay attention to the sensory words. So, as a reminder, sensory words are words that you can feel, see, touch, taste, or hear. So, as you're reading, I want you to think, can you see in your mind what he's doing? Can you hear in your brain what he's doing? Can you almost touch what he's doing? Okay. So that is what we are going to do as we read. We're going to use our imagination and our five senses to help us understand these poems. I'm going to play a recording of this reading. You can follow along with the yellow highlight as it's reading. Okay, so we learn that John Henry is working on a tunnel for a railroad. And we find out that at the end of the story, he actually dies. It says, well, they carried him down to the graveyard and they buried him in the sand. So now what we're going to do is we are going to highlight on our booklet. I'm going to do it on my screen, but I want you to make sure that you have your booklet in front of you and you are highlighting with me. So let's get our tools. Find my highlighter. Okay, so I told you guys to pay attention to different words or phrases that appealed to our senses. Words that appealed to our sight, our touch, our sound, our taste, and our smell. So let's see if we can find any words or phrases that help us picture what's happening in this story. So it starts off with when John Henry was a little baby, just sitting on mama's knee. So I want you to think, can you picture a little baby sitting on his mama's knee? So we're going to highlight a little baby sitting on mama's knee. Good. Then let's go down to the next stanza. It says, when John Henry said to the captain, I'm going to take a little trip downtown, get me a 30-pound hammer with a 9-foot handle. Can you picture a 30-pound hammer? Probably really heavy, right? With a 9-foot handle? Seems pretty long. So I can imagine this. I can see it and I can also touch it, right? Oops, I highlighted the wrong part. Sorry, friends. Okay, there we go. Get me a 30-pound hammer with a 9-foot handle. All right, let's keep reading. It says, well, John Henry hammered on that mountain. Can you picture someone hammering on a mountain? Probably pretty tough, right? Can you hear someone hammering on a mountain? Then if we keep reading, it says hammer was striking fire. Ooh, wow. Now I'm picturing fire. I know he's hammering and working really hard. So let's highlight hammered on that mountain till his hammer was striking fire. As we keep reading, it says, cool drink of water before I die. Can you imagine this cool drink of water? Can you imagine holding it? Can you imagine tasting it after you're working so hard? And then in the last stanza, it says, and every locomotive came roaring on by. So a locomotive is a train. And can you just think about, have you ever seen a train just go down the tracks? And it's pretty loud, right? So a locomotive came roaring on by and people cried. All right. So lots of sensory words in this poem. It helps us understand the poem a little bit better, right? All right. We are going to read another story. And this one is called, let me get rid of that. The Village Blacksmith. So when you're ready, turn to page 8, and we are going to read The Village Blacksmith. So let's go back and highlight some of those sensory words that we can find. And as we go through our highlights, if there are some words in here that might be a little confusing, so I will explain those as well. So we know that there is a man in this story, and he has large and sinewy hands. So can you imagine large hands? The word sinewy means muscular. So large and muscular hands. And his brawny arms. So brawny means muscular. So the muscles of his brawny arms are as strong as iron bands. So we can kind of imagine that, picture that. Then it starts talking about his hair. We know his hair is crisp and black and long. His face is like the tan. His brow is wet with honest sweat. So we know that his brow is wet with sweat, which tells us a few different things. We can see it, so it tells us that he's working hard. We could touch it, kind of gross, but we could. And we could almost smell it, smell the sweat because he's working so hard. Let's move on to the next stanza. You can hear his bellows one blow. So down here it says, oh, sorry, you can hear his bellows blow. That's supposed to be a small one. And a bellow is a tool that draws in and then blows out air. So kind of like a big horn. So that is appealing to our hearing. And it says we can hear him swing his heavy sledge with measured beat and slow. So a heavy sledge is like a hammer. And so you can hear him hammering during his work. And then it says, like a sexton ringing the village bell when the evening sun is low. So first of all, a sexton is like a church groundskeeper. So someone that, takes care of the grounds at a church. And so it says it's just like him when he rings the bell at the church. So ringing the village bell, which we can also hear. All right, let's go on to this page 9. It says, and children coming home from school look in at the open door. They love to see the flaming forge. So remember, this is a blacksmith, someone that works with metal. And they make what they're making by flames and fire. So the kids like to see the forge, which is the metal object, and like to see when it's flaming. It's like a reddish, orangish color. So let's go ahead and highlight that. And then again, we hear the bellows roar. So like that horn, that's making the sound. Burning sparks that fly. So they like to watch him work and see the burning sparks that are flying off of the metal. All right, friends, you guys did a great job today. We'll see you later.